To the Central Texas Command Center.
In the heart of the resistance, you're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
All right, 8 minutes into hour number 2. Glenn Spencer coming up in the next hour from the front lines of the collapsing border in Arizona, and he says things are heating up. Of course, 17 killed in a machine gun attack on a birthday party yesterday. A few days before that, a big car bombing. It is getting really serious as the failed state, Mexico, sinks into the mud. Their corrupt government and police fighting with the other drug dealers over the spoils. That is coming up. Steve Watson has a key article that just went live at prisonplanet.com. Top Secret America. Google launches cover-up of Google Spies story. Google launches cover-up of Google Spies story. Now, we said search the term yesterday, Google Spies, to link to an article and past articles we wrote years ago saying Google was basically an NSA front. But a corporate government. This isn't the government taking over corporations. This is the government merging with corporations. And, you know, here's one of the stories we wrote 4 years ago. Paul Watson, ex-agent, CIA seed money helped launch Google. Steele goes further than before in detailing ties, names Google's CIA liaison. So here's that article from 4 years ago. And why is this so important? Here's the article. Top Secret America, a hidden world growing beyond control. 854,000. That's as large as a major city, or 1.5 times as many live in Washington, D.C., the Washington Post reports, with the highest level security clearance, and they're all private corporate operatives. That's part of InfraGard as well. That's the FBI liaison into this. All 4 parts of the Defense Department, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, liaison in. The FBI, state governments, threat fusion centers, the license plate reading cameras, the cell phones tracking you, the Google software, listening to you inside your house with a microphone, keyword dataing everything. Google admits they do that, but say, don't worry, humans aren't listening. Computers are listening in your house. That was 4 years ago. They admitted that. Headline, in fact, search it. Google admits microphones on computer listening to you in your home. So think of the magnitude of this. That's why Google, it comes out all over the world, has their little Google trucks, white vans going around, videotaping your street for Street View. That's only the front cover, okay? Now they have GPS coordinates via the census. Same thing was done in Europe. This is for a real-world 360 map, similar to cyberspace, but in the real world. This is what the Pentagon said over a decade ago. That's how I knew about this. This stuff's all hidden in plain view. And Google drives around and has put up masts in every major city that just grab all the wireless digital transmissions from your iPhone, your laptop, your wireless. I mean, I've got an ABC News story where they're charging thousands of people a year now for videotaping police from 100 yards away. The cops come and arrest them for eavesdropping, wiretapping, when there's no perception of privacy. There's no law violated. They still charge you. And the judges still tell the juries to convict you. When on its face, it's being thrown out of court over and over again. They don't care. So they are going to let Google, for the NSA, go out and steal all the data. And the courts just ruled last week Google can do that in the U.S. and Australia. Oh, yeah, you're allowed to steal everybody's data. Why is Google allowed to do things that nobody else can? Why are they allowed to digitize new books and put them on the web? And the publishers can't stop them because they are the new corporate government. So corporations, the elite corporations who aren't free market, they are becoming the government. And Steve Watson wrote an excellent article about this, that the term Google Spies was the hottest search and the hottest search. Those are two different terms. It was volcanic. That's their highest rating. And we have screenshots of that we'll put up from his article because he has the screenshots in it in his story. Top Secret America, Google launches cover-up over Google Spies story. But I wanted to read this quote from John Quincy Adams, John Adams' son. Courage and perseverance have a magical talisman before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish into air. And that is the final statement in this great article written by Andrew Steele. It's up on Infowars.com. Deleted Obama deception movie restored after Google nailed with calculated search blitz. But the point is, Google is now censoring terms that expose their spying. Their search system is a fraud, and it's not just to predict what's going to happen in the future by tracking trends, but to manipulate the outcomes of societal movements. They want you to read about Mel Gibson. They want you to read about Lindsay Lohan. They want to make you read about Vandersloot. They want to make you be obsessed with the New York Yankees owner dying, instead of real issues that affect you and your family, like the global depression being engineered by design, or private corporations becoming the government. Just a decade ago, there were no more than 5,000 people, Congress reports. The intelligence community, maybe 10,000, depending if you look at the intelligence breakdowns differently, but a fraction that had this highest level security clearance. Now, 800,000+ private corporate shills have it. Let's go to Steve Watson. We'll have him with us till about 45 after. Then I'll get into the other news and your calls. Steve Watson, good to have you here with us today, sir.
It's good to be back, Alex.
Well, I tell you, we certainly analyzed this correctly in the last decade, and now it's just admitted that Google, Oracle, and others are at the very top of this private corporate takeover of the planet. Your government is now transferring most government activities over to these private operations. I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like you were saying yesterday. It's an open secret now, and you know, people try and link Google. They say Google has, you know, extensive links to intelligence, to CIA and NSA. But it's like we were saying yesterday. It doesn't just have links. It has become part of the intelligence apparatus. It's, you know, we've written articles previously, you know, multiple articles documenting this, and I've linked to them all today in my article today, which is Top Secret America Google launches cover-up of the Google Spies story. So we've taken what's been unfolding in the past few days, but we've also contextualized it with all the previous articles we've written, which, if you go to this article, they're all linked at the bottom, and you can read them and get them out to everyone, because it's important to understand, especially this week with the Washington Post story coming out, it's important to understand the relationship that Google, not just Google, but others, you know, other communication companies have, because it's part of the overall attack on the free internet. It's all linked into the Pentagon, the federal government, the fusion centers, everything. They're all linked in together, and once you understand how big that is, you understand how hard we have to fight to keep the free internet. So, I mean, if we just go over Google's links, or Google's intrinsic links to the intelligence apparatus from these previous articles, earlier this year, it was revealed that Google specifically has a government arm that works directly with the government and the intelligence agencies. So the public side, what, you know, we see as the search engines, the Street View, everything like that, that's one side of it. But behind that, there's a whole other side of it, which is, you know, specifically set up to work with the intelligence apparatus. It was revealed earlier this year that they were setting up a sort of spy force to work directly with the NSA, and the pretext that was given for this was that Google suffered a cyber attack. Now, obviously, that was used as an excuse for the government to come in and say, right, you've suffered a cyber attack. We don't want America to suffer a cyber attack, so we need to work with you behind the scenes. So they basically set up a spy force with the NSA and if you go to this article entitled Google Reestablishes Relationship with Government Spies, it's broken down in there.
And that's a whitewash because they were founded by these people. And again, this allows a select mega technology companies to control the infrastructure of the web, and they are to police the entire surveillance grid, and they are to decide under cybersecurity who can even have a license to be an IT professional. Everyone under the Cybersecurity Act will be licensed by the government. Even ISPs that have 100 or more customers must be wired through the NSA. The FCC saying everything on your computer will be controlled by black box software that filters what you can see and tracks everything you're looking at. I mean, this makes Chinese-style net censorship look tame in comparison. And so they just used the claim that China had kicked Google out, and they've now let them back in, as the pretext to say, oh, we're establishing ties to the NSA. When they are NSA software. It was created by the NSA.